What's up guys, Jake here for Dude Ranch DIY. Today we are here in the basement and I'm going to show you a super easy way to be able to move around full IBC totes. So what we're going to be building here is another one of these, and I just call it a pallet dolly. It's going to be a quick and easy process, but basically it's just one of these big heavy duty blue pallets with the big like 6x4s. That, you know, make up the corners of it, and I buy these PowerTech wheels and lag bolt it to the bottom, and it makes moving around the tote super easy. I just wheel the tote over here, or the pallet dolly rather, and then plop the tote, you know, open up the doors, plop the tote down on top, and you know, then I can wheel it basically anywhere around here in my garage. This second pallet tote is going to be for my bundle wood. Normally the ATV is pushed back a little bit and we have room for a tote right here next to the brute force firewood bundler. That way I have my bundle wood, which is nice and dry, and next to the bundler, and I have my wood stove wood over here. So here we got our blue pallet. This is a pretty nice one. It's in pretty good shape. Not too beat up on the bottom, just this one board is a little beat up, but it's really not going to get picked up and moved around too much. Then we got our 4 PowerTech wheels. These things are great. They're 8 inches tall, so they roll over like little pieces of gravel and, you know, shards of wood and stuff. I really like the fact that they have grease fittings on every one of them. That way you can grease them up if need be. They do come pre-greased. I don't know if you can see the grease in there, but these are airless tires, so you don't have to worry about ever getting a hole in them or anything, and they're just all around, you know, pretty heavy duty construction. I think they're about 20 bucks each on Amazon. I'll put a link for them down in the description, but basically we're just gonna bolt them up to the bottom of the pallet, and this should be a pretty quick and easy process. We'll have that bundle firewood in the basement here in no time. Alright guys, so we got some 2-inch lag bolts here along with some washers to fit them. So this is pretty simple. I mean, obviously you don't want to go into where the nails are, but these brackets, or not brackets, but supports rather, these big ones, you want to make sure you get into them and they kind of go lengthwise, and so do these brackets. They're not really square, they're kind of more rectangular. So you want to be sure that you're just centered on there, like on this bigger piece of wood, not so much this support board. And we're just going to send them home. I'm not pre-drilling or anything because I just want these puppies to bite in as best as possible. So here we go. Again, I'm not really concerned if this top board cracks because it's really biting down into this. This top board is just like half an inch thick or so. So as long as you get good contact into here, you should be good to go. All right, that's one totally on. Okay, and just like that, we got one pallet dolly. We'll flip this thing over and see how she rolls. Oh yeah. That looks really good. I mean, I can roll this around easily with my foot. So let's go line it up in front of the garage doors, and we will bring in that bundle tote of firewood. So you guys might be wondering, Jake, why don't you just get a pallet jack to use to roll around your totes, and you know, you don't have to be stuck with that dolly underneath, you know, each tote, or you're having to make 2 separate dollies. Well, let me show you something. I have a pallet jack right here, one that I actually got from the dump, my favorite shopping store. Yeah, and this thing works. It pumps up, it jacks up, if you see. But what doesn't work on it, it goes down. But the wheels here, if you could see, all the rubber has worn off in a majority of spots, and I'm thinking that that's why whoever threw it out, because it was probably pretty hard to roll with these big chunks of rubber getting in the way. And if you look down here, you know, there's like big chunks of rubber there and then big chunks of rubber missing, making it pretty hard to wheel around. I already went ahead and took off this wheel. And I actually, you can see, actually the axle is right here. This is something I've been trying to work on for a while. I went ahead and bought all the parts. I got all new bearings and rollers and wheels and pins and stuff. Here are the two back wheels. New axle in there as well. But the one downfall to this thing is that it kind of takes up a lot of space. And yes, I would be able to, you know, wheel in a tote next to the Firewood bundler and then pull this out and put it somewhere, but it's kind of like, well, where would I put it? That's kind of out of the way. And you could say, oh, well, you could just leave it underneath the tote. That way, you know, it wouldn't take up that much room. But the tote would stop right here, and then you would have to deal with all this extra overhang, you know, sticking out, which is like another 1.5 feet. The benefit to these is that the tote sits right on top of it. It raises the height of the tote, so you don't have to bend over so far to get to the bottom. And it only takes up the area, the square footage that the tote takes up. So you really don't notice that it's even there. I mean, if you're looking here, this tote is sitting right on top of that pallet dolly, and it doesn't really take up any more room than the tote itself. Yes, it sits a little higher, but that's all right. You know, you're not really putting anything on top of these anyway if you're trying to get your firewood out. So that is the story behind the tote dollies and the pallet jack, and why I'm electing to use the tote dollies over the pallet jack. All right, guys, just like that, we have our second tote in the garage. As you can see, I am easily able to wheel this big, heavy tote filled with firewood around by myself in the basement. And we're going to get this to go right up here near the bundler. Oh, if we don't take off our arm with the bundler in the process. So I just want that there. And then back up against the wall. And there we go. One full tote, or almost full tote. I think I only have about 4 or 5 bundles out of this one. One full tote here in the basement. So that is awesome. Being able to get this tote of bundle wood here, this tote of burning, wood, stove wood over here. It's all dry. When I first bring them in, especially with these totes that I burn in the wood stove, I like to get my big air circulator fan and the dehumidifier going for a couple days just to suck any of that last bit of moisture out of it and help dry things up. But I mean, as you can see, this wood, this stuff is bone dry. This is all boneless, skinless bundle wood. So this is going to be really good stuff for firewood bundles, and I know my customers are going to love it. All right, so I'm going to give you guys one last look at the finished tote. As you can see, it's a good, probably foot to 14 inches up off the ground, which is really nice. theoretically, I guess you could store some stuff underneath there, but it just keeps it up off the ground and makes it a little bit easier, you know, when you're bending down to get those pieces down in the bottom. So we got the twins here. I think this is going to work out really well all winter long here, and I still have plenty of room to pull in the ATV. So I think this is an awesome setup. And if you have a garage with access like this, or you know, a basement with access like this, or a barn or a shop or something with a concrete floor, I think these things would roll around even easier than on this plywood subfloor. So for, you know, 80 bucks to get a set of 4 of these wheels, I think it's well worth it. I mean, these things are really tough, and I even went out and priced some of the ones like at Tractor Supply or Home Depot, and you were paying more money for a smaller wheel, and it was just like your typical, you know, caster wheel, like a hard wheel or something like that, or like a bigger version of what's on that stool or my toolbox over there. So, you know, for 20 bucks on Amazon, again, link down in the description. These PowerTech wheels are awesome and greasable, which is one of the things I really like about them. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap this one up. You guys get the gist, just a short, quick video showing how I make these things. And, you know, remember the link to these PowerTech casters is down in the description below. We have had a ton of new subscribers lately, which is awesome. Thanks to all of you that are new to the channel. If you're new, drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're from, what you do, what you're into, what brought you to the channel. Just something about you. I'm always looking to, you know, get to know my viewers and stuff, and I try to read and, you know, reply to as many comments as I can. So as always, guys, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comment section below. Be sure to check out the Dude Ranch merchandise store. There's a link down in the description. We got hoodies, we got crew neck sweatshirts, long sleeves, you name it, we got it on there. I know the holidays are coming up. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time. That's the stuff.